space will help us reconnect. That was the month I learned everything.
When my wife suggested we spend a month apart, I didn't panic, not at first. She said it would help us reconnect, that some space could fix what our arguments couldn't. I agreed, even though my chest felt heavy, like an anchor was setting in. As she packed, she smiled too easily, her bag too light for a month away. The first night she was gone, the house felt cavernous. Every echo was a reminder of her absence. I tried to bury myself in work, to cling to the familiarity of my routine. I told myself it was just a month. The first few days were quiet, almost peaceful. But then the small things started to feel wrong. The nightly calls she promised became less frequent, then stopped altogether. Her text replies grew shorter, delayed. "Just busy," she'd say. I forced myself not to overthink it, not to let my imagination run wild. I was trusting the process, just like we'd agreed. Then, halfway through the month, everything changed. A friend sent me a message, the kind of message that starts with hesitation. He asked if my wife and I were still together. The question hit me like a physical blow. My hands started to shake as I typed back, "What do you mean?" He said he didn't want to be the one to tell me, but he sent a photo. There she was, at a restaurant I didn't recognize, her hand intertwined with another man's. My vision blurred. The silence in the house suddenly became deafening. My first instinct was to call her, to scream, to demand an explanation. But I held back. I needed clarity, not chaos. I needed facts, not a fight fueled by raw emotion. So I started paying attention. I logged into our shared bank account, something I rarely did. I saw unfamiliar charges, restaurant bills. And then the one that stopped my Harda hotel stay in a city she never mentioned visiting. The dates lined up perfectly with a weekend she said she was spending finding herself at a retreat. The puzzle pieces clicked into place with a sickening finality. My sadness began to curdle into a cold, quiet anger. I didn't confront her. Instead, I made a call. Not to her, but to Alauyer. I explained the situation calmly, clinically, as if I were talking about someone else's life. I followed his advice and quietly separated our finances, moving my salary into a new personal account. Every action felt deliberate, a quiet preparation for a storm I knew was coming. When she finally called a few days later, her voice was light, casual. She asked how I was doing. I listened more than I spoke. Each word she said a small betrayal. She talked about how free she felt, how this time apart was giving her so much perspective. That word, free, it burned. I didn't challenge her. I didn't accuse her. I just let her talk, let her spin a web of lies that she was becoming more and more comfortable in. The day she came home, she was beaming. She walked in, dropped her bags, and hugged me like nothing had happened. "I missed this," she said, her voice warm. I hugged her back, but my arms felt stiff, my body a stranger to hers. That evening I cooked her favorite dinner. She sat at the table, telling me stories from her month away, stories that were now full of holes I could see right through. She laughed, and the sound was jarring. "Did you enjoy the time apart?" I asked, my voice steady. "It was eye-opening," she replied, smiling. I just nodded. The next morning, the illusion shattered. She tried to use our joint debit card, and it was declined. She came to me, a flicker of confusion on her face. "Is something wrong with the account?" she asked. I looked at her, the calmness I'd been cultivating for 2 weeks holding me steady. "I know everything," I said. The color drained from her face. It was like watching a mask crumble. She tried to deny it at first, a flurry of panicked excuses, then came the tears. Then the blame. She said she was lonely, that I hadn't been paying attention to her, that this other person was just a mistake. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't argue. I simply walked to my desk, picked up a thin folder, and handed it to her. Inside were the printed bank statements, the hotel receipt, a copy of the photo my friend had sent. The silence that followed was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. "Is this revenge?" She finally whispered, her voice breaking. "No," I said. "It's consequences." I asked her to leave. She started begging, pleading for another chance, promising it would never happen again. She said the month was supposed to fix us, not break us. It did, I told her. It gave me clarity, too. She left that day, not with the easy smile she had a month ago, but with a panic that revealed the true cost of her choices. In the weeks that followed, the truth unraveled on its own. Our mutual friends, seeing her scramble for a narrative that made sense, slowly distanced themselves. The man from the photograph disappeared from her life as quickly as he had appeared. The divorce was quiet, finalized without the drama she had tried to ignite. Rebuilding wasn't easy. The house was still too quiet sometimes. Sleep was a battle I had to win every night. But slowly a new feeling emerged. Peace. It was unfamiliar, but welcome. It was a peace born from honesty, not from illusion. Months later, my life looked different. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. It was authentic. One afternoon, a message from her popped up on my phone. Another apology. She said she never expected me to be so calm, so methodical. I thought about it for a moment before I replied. Calm is what comes after acceptance, I wrote. I wished her well. And then I blocked her number. It didn't feel like a dramatic act of revenge. It felt like closing a door, gently but firmly. That month apart didn't destroy my marriage. It just revealed what was already broken beyond repair. And the most unexpected consequence wasn't getting revenge. It was finding my own freedom, a freedom without bitterness. I learned that you don't win by hurting the person who hurt you. You win by choosing yourself. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you're not alone and that clarity and peace are possible. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories about navigating life's challenges. See you next time.